This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. I'm Hal Mayer. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed an anti-terrorism bill into law that severely restricts religious freedom in Russia. The new law, known as the Yerovaya Law, after Irina Yerovaya, who authored the text, was drafted in the aftermath of the deadly bombing of a Russian aircraft, as well as the Paris attacks last November. Critics who dubbed the package the Big Brother Law, due to its provisions governing social media, are concerned that the draconian legislation will greatly restrict evangelism and religious freedom. It's one of the most restrictive laws in post-Soviet history and resembles the Soviet Union in 1929. The sweeping bill also requires telephone companies to store calls and text messages for at least 6 months. The law also increases penalties for supporting, performing, or financing terrorism, and includes internet appeals for terrorism or public-related justification on social media. But the big problem for Christians is the law's effect on Christian missionaries. The bill restricts any activity if it is not undertaken by individuals who are affiliated with a registered organization. Foreign missionaries will not be allowed to speak at churches unless they have a work permit from Russian authorities. Any kind of discussion about God with non-believers would be considered missionary activity and punishable by law. In addition, the location where such missionary work can unfold is restricted to registered houses of worship and related religious sites. Religious activities, even in private homes, will not be allowed, making the house church movement illegal. The law also cracks down on sharing faith online, and anyone from the age of 14 found to be preaching will be subject to prosecution. Moreover, every citizen is required to report religious activity to the authorities or face punishment. The law's vague language could lead to abuse by government officials, say critics. Fines for violation range from $780 for an individual to $15,500 for an organization. But despite protests, especially from Protestant leaders, including the Seventh-day Adventist Church, as well as Jewish and Muslim leaders, the bill passed both houses of the Federal Assembly of Russia. The law will send the church back into the Soviet-era communist persecution, said Hannu Hauka, president of the Great Commission Media Ministries. Keep the Faith Ministry predicted a decade ago that time for public evangelism in Russia is limited. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10. This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. Thank you for watching.